In this session, we would be discussing how to change the colors of the plot. So changing the palette. So palette changes the color of the main elements of the plot. So this is the function that you need sns.set underscore palette, and can use either you can use the preset palettes or you can create your own custom palettes as well. Like for example, we have the diverging palettes. Diverging palettes are RDBU. So the divergence will happen from red to blue, then PRGN from purple to green, RD blue, and then PRGN again. Okay, so these are different diverging palettes. So you can use in categorical plots. Palettes are very useful because they give an extra edge to your visualization and to your presentation. Like for example, I want to use a diverging palette. So I have uh, mentioned here sns.set underscore palette RDBU I want to use. Category order I have mentioned no yes. If you will not mention, it will take it automatically. And order parameter order equal to category order, and this is what I get. So since it is red blue, so if you see, it starts with the dark red and then goes till blue. So since I have only two bars, it has started with red, and then the second is this one. So second is this one, and if suppose there would have been more bars, the color would have differed according to the palette. Then let's take another example where I've used purple green. Then this is how it will differ. It's your choice how you want to showcase or what type of diverging palette you use. If the number of bars are large, number of count plots are large, then the palettes beautifies your plots like anything. Then we have the sequential palettes as well. So sequential palettes like grays, blues, purple red, and green blue. They're the predefined sequential palettes. So again, if you want to use sequential palettes, you can use them. Sequential palettes are very useful when you are using scatter plots, especially. So if you're using scatter plot, then I will advise you to go for sequential palettes. Then finally, if you want to go for your own custom palettes, like you want to define your own set of colors, you want to define what it should be, so that can also be done. So custom palette is equal to, let's say for example, I want red, green, orange, blue, yellow, and purple. So that means when I will plot my first bar or my first count would be of red color, then of green, then of orange, then blue, then yellow, and then purple. So you have to define your custom palette, use custom underscore palette, and once you have defined it, you have to call it using the sns.set underscore palette function. Custom palettes you can define with the help of codes also. The codes I have discussed earlier also with, and if you have written it in the form of code, then also you have to call the same function. So once you do that, it becomes very easy. You can use any type of palette. The way you have used uh, uh, the divergent palette here, you can use sequential palette. You can use code words for the sequential. But sequential palettes, as I said, that I prefer them to be more on the in the scatter plots, more viable for scatter plots. Customs, then you have to use custom palette, and then you can call whatever type of categorical plot you wish to have, like bar, count, point, and accordingly the coloring will happen. See, the usage of colors is very it intensifies your plots like anything, especially if they are the categorical. So in categorical plots, the relevance of palettes become more significant as compared to point plots or any other type of numerical plots. Changing the scale is again very a different type of customization that Seaborn offers you. So here there are four type of contexts that are available from smallest to largest. Paper, it will smallest. Then there's a notebook context, then talk, and then poster. Now, I have showcased all the four figures here, and you can automatically see the difference. So this is the first case where I have used my set context equal to talk. Okay, so this is the talk one. This is paper, the smallest. You see, lunch, dinner, tea. Note down the very small things that you need to note. The size of the plot, the size of the labels of X and Y axis, And then this is for the notebook context. You see, if you compare the size larger, the plot size, the label size, then the third is talk. You see the size is more than the paper and notebook. And then finally, this is the poster one, where the size is the largest as compared to paper, notebook, or talk. So again, you can change the scale of the plot uh, depending on how intensely you want to showcase it uh, to the other people or to the management when you are talking about decision. So before we move, let's say this is what we can do with the diverging palettes. So I need to call the sns.set underscore palette function. So rdbu to green, lot of functions are there. So I'm using rdbu here. Then I have used the cat plot function. So I want to draw a count plot, kind equal to count, and category order I have specifically mentioned. If you'll not mention that, then definitely the function will take it by default. So if we run this, what we get, the rdbu. So it pleases the eyes like anything. The more the number of bars, the more the number of counts, the more beautification happens to it. Similarly, here I have mentioned is to be the PR green. I want to set it as a PR green. So SNS dot set underscore palette PR green, purple to green. Then category order mentioned. Then this time no change. This is exactly same. This is exactly same, except that I have deferred the set underscore palette. And if you run this, what you get instead of RDBU, what what you get is purple. So if they have put more bars, slowly and gradually it would have turned to green. So that leads not only leads to better visualization but better comparative state. So when you're giving a presentation and you have different sets reflecting in different colors, it what I will say, it gives another level of attraction point to the people who are seeing that, who are visualizing it. And then finally changing the scale, which I have mentioned that there are different scales in the order. We start from paper. So let me do it for you. Let me instead of talk, let me by paper. So okay, then let me do it. And second case, let of paper. Second is notebook of paper. Replace it with book. And in third scenario, it is talk. So let me replace paper with talk. And in the fourth scenario, this poster, let me replace the. So all the four skills I have mentioned here, all right, to showcase you that how the functionality differs. So this is for the smallest one, the paper, then for notebook, then for um, this talk, and then finally for poster. And these are the four plots which I have shown here also to make the comparative analysis better and more simple. So that's all in the Seaborn library, and a lot of practice should be done on your behalf. See what's important, which we all need to understand, that it's not about learning, it's not about coding, it's more about understanding. Once you have understood how the things are working, once you have understood how we are presenting the codes, then you do it once, twice, thrice, it would be right in your head. And then you can always use codes as a reference file. It might not be viable to remember so many together. It can be taken as a reference file. The important part here is that you need to learn, and the learning will happen only when you practice. Because when you practice, you learn implementing it. So there's no point of remembering when you can't implement it. Okay, I believe everyone who has joined this course, whosoever taking this course, the idea behind taking this course is to actually learn its implementation, and that is possible only when you practice, when you use your own hands on it. It's very important that when we are dealing together, when I'm putting this course to you, practice it maybe side by side or maybe later on. But it's important that before you go into the next session, the practice must happen. Now, since we are finished with Seaborn, the next we would be taking this the bouquet library, which is much more advanced than Matplotlib and the Seaborn. It gives you a lot of interactive plots, a lot of customizations which are not offered by the Matplotlib or the Seaborn, and that is where the bouquet scores. And before you move ahead, I'm again repeating, you must practice what you have learned. Learning is a step by step manner. It is a step by step phase. It is not done that way. It would be very difficult because what you need is not only to learn, but you also need to learn how to implementation is the key. So, thank you so much and all the best to all my plotting ninjas. And we will meet in the advanced course with data visualization using Python, using the OK.